Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the channel if you're new here. I'm Ollie, and in this week's video I'm going to be replacing the power steering fluid on the van, and I'm going to be giving the power steering system a complete flush, replacing the old fluid, which looks like this, with brand new fluid, which looks like this. Reasons you might want to do that: if your power steering pump's making a whining sound, it's a good idea to change that fluid first, and it might cure this. Or it's just a good preventative maintenance measure to make sure you keep your power steering system in tip-top condition. My van takes ATF free, but you should check your owner's handbook and make sure you're using the right power steering fluid for your vehicle. So the first thing I'm going to do is just jack up the front end of the van so both the wheels are off the ground. That'll just make it easier to turn the wheels so we can get all the power steering fluid out, because if you have it on the ground you're going to be dry steering, wearing flat spots on your tyres, and it's just going to be quite difficult. Both the wheels are now off the ground. Here we have our power steering fluid reservoir. We know it's power steering fluid because it says it on the lid, or it will have a picture of a steering wheel. And on this particular van it's quite handy because we can just pop the reservoir off like that, and then we can see our flow and return lines on the bottom there. So the flow line will be going to the power steering pump down there, and our return line is coming in on the bottom on this one. So what we're going to do to start with is just drain out the fluid from the reservoir, and then I'm going to disconnect these lines and give the reservoir a good clean. This is going to be a little bit of a messy job, so I've just got an old towel here and I'm going to put that around the reservoir just while I'm trying to get all the old fluid out. So with that on there, just take some of that. Here we have a colour comparison between the old contaminated fluid and the brand new stuff. And all I'm doing at the moment is emptying the reservoir so we can take the reservoir off and clean it. I'm just using a good old turkey baster, because I'm sure most people have one of these, or you can pick one up relatively cheap. You know, you don't really need any special tools, but obviously if you've got a vacuum pump or something like that, use that because it'll make it much easier. So that's basically empty. So what I'm going to do is just disconnect the pipes off the bottom, prop them up so we don't get any spills, take the Jubilee clip off. Now it's still got a little bit left in the bottom here, so quickly whip the hose off and catch anything that's left. Now I'm just going to take off the other line so I can go and give the bottle a good clean. So to clean this bottle, I'm just going to be using a bit of carb cleaner. You could use brake cleaner, anything like that really. Any fast drying solvent will be good. Because the thing is, you don't want any moisture left inside here. Have a look inside there, and yeah, I can see lots of dirt around the bottom here. This brush came with some metal drinking straws, so it's just a pipe cleaner basically, and I'm sure you can pick these up relatively cheap online. You can see all those bits that have come out the bottom of the reservoir. So the last thing you want is for there to be any moisture in your hydraulic system. So I've just got a bit of compressed air, and I'm just going to blow out the inside of this to make sure it's all nice and dry. So what I'm going to do now is reconnect the flow, fill this up with new power steering fluid, and then turn the steering wheel from lock to lock until this empties back down into the system, and it will come out of the return line bin. But first of all, I need to find something to blank off the return line on this so I can fill it up without it coming straight out the bottom. Okay, so what I've got to seal off the return on the bottle is just a pen that just squeezes in there like that, and then it's quite handy because it'll be easy to pull this out afterwards and put the hose back on. So the return on the reservoir is blanked off. I'm just going to plug in the float. Like so. And now I'm going to fill up the reservoir. This should go in the return. I'm just using this clear hose to plug into the return line, so then that way we can see when the system's fully flushed and we're drawing through the fresh power steering fluid. I'm going to wedge that down in there, just like that, and I can drop that out the bottom of the van. So you can see I've dropped the return line down and it's already starting to drain the system. Try not to spill as much as I am. So I'm just going to fill this right up because we can always continue to flush it through. So let's, oh bloody hell, fill it right up. That's good. So I've just come in the cab and I'm just going to turn the steering wheel slowly from lock to lock, and in doing so we're pushing out all the old power steering fluid through the return line, and then we're drawing in the fresh stuff from the power steering fluid reservoir, and we just need to keep making sure that that's topped up with fresh stuff so that we don't draw any air into the system, and I'm going to keep doing that until it comes out red from the return line. And I'm turning the wheels very slowly. So as the fluid level drops, I'm going to keep making sure this is topped up. And we're going to keep flushing through until it comes out nice and red. Okay, I'm happy that that's coming through nice and clear now. If we just look at that. So we can go ahead and put the return line back on the reservoir. Right, we need to be a little bit quick about this. I need to quickly whip both of these out and then plug it into the reservoir. So that comes out. That out. And then that's it. Plug the return line back in. Let's put the lid back on so we don't get any contaminants in there, and get these hoses back on the reservoir. Let's get our Jubilee clips done up. So I've just filled it up to the maximum cold level there. We have a look inside here, look how clean that is. You can see the filter and everything. So I'm just going to go and turn the steering wheel from lock to lock again, just make sure we haven't got any air in the system, because the last thing you want to do is have that pump run dry. It's best practice just to make sure you get all the air out of the system before you start the engine. So I'm just going to go and start the engine now, allow the power steering fluid to circulate, make sure we haven't got any leaks. Right, we just need to top that up again. Put the lid back on. And we can go take it for a test drive. How exciting. Oh yeah, it feels much lighter. It's not like you're driving a bus anymore, it's kind of more car-like. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it useful and enjoyed watching it. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate the support, and thank you so much to everybody that's supporting the channel already. We've just made it past 1,000 subscribers, which is absolutely fantastic, and I couldn't do it without you guys, so thank you so much. If there's anything in particular you'd like to see on the channel, please let me know in the comments below and I'll try and incorporate it. Or if you've got any questions for me, feel free to leave them and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. Stay safe everyone, and hopefully I'll see you next time.